Hi, my name is Yannick. I'm a private ice hockey coach. I do a lot of exploration, just like you do when you don't know a topic so much. You go on Google and you start typing it out, and a lot of times you don't get the answer you're looking for, but it gives you enough information to get a better second question and then a third question, and finally you get closer and closer to what you want to learn or what you want to know. So I think that for hockey, there's a lot of information out there, but it's a little bit like Google. Sometimes we assume things, and sometimes if we have an idea of how to do things, there's a lot of information, but it's not structured in a way that is usable right away. So we tend to fall back on what's been done before, and I love the exploration. I take very seriously, the fact that the player that is working with me is an actual player that needs result. So I don't play around with during the time that we're on the ice. I don't want to test out different ideas for myself, for my understanding. So I do this outside the ice. And so, yeah, I love that exploration process. I do a lot on my own, and I thought I'd share some of it. And today that's going to be just that. So let's get started. All right, so I'll try to say so a little bit less. Here some of these are ideas and things that I want to explore, and I try to connect them and understand them, structure them in a way that is usable. So one of the things lately that I've been looking into is really balance and the effect of the foot position under the pelvis and the pelvis position on top of the foot, and the effect it has on power, on quickness, on posture, on capacity to use the upper body to move the puck or to hold a hit. Something that really caught my eye is inverted pendulum. I'm not sure if it applies to everything that I'm going to say, but this really caught my eye, and it is a rail with a dolly on top of it, controlled by AI. I assume that there are sensors in the joint, in the hinges, so that it knows where it is rotated, but it's free floating or rotating freely around the axis if it's not controlled. The hinges are rotating freely, so really the job has to be done by the position of the dolly on the rail. So I think it is a little bit the same thing with the position of the skate. The main difference, and you'll see here, the main difference is that these wheels can stop and there is friction, so it can really go from ground up and allow for a full stop to happen. On the ice, it can't happen in the same direction. The skate is just going to keep going, but you can use the profile, you can use a rocker, but there is a clear relationship between the center of mass and the foot position that will affect the mechanics of the player. So this is what I want to explore a little bit, and hopefully get a better understanding on how profiling, how foot position, how the weight is distributed under the foot in different movements, so that depending on the player, I know better what has to be done and what has to be worked on. What I want to do is first model a profile. So I want to make a 3D profile that will be reusable. I'm going to make it semi parametric, so that I can test different profiles on the movement. I want to use this in a simulation. So I'm going to use Unity Unity is a game engine that I've been using for prototyping game like VR and eye tracking applications. So I like using it because it's hockey is a 3D movement. I like the ability to be able to play around with that. So get the profile in, use maybe physics. There is a physics engine in it, so to simulate the weight shifts and the effect it has on one segment compared to the other. But really, for this part, I want to see how the profile is affecting the overall balance capacity of not capacity, but the overall effect of the profile on balance. So maybe being able to use different profiles, but at the same time reuse the same testing environment or testing simulation environment is going to be interesting. And the last one, maybe machine learning, training and model. So this is brand new for me, but I understand the principle behind it, and I want to see if I can get to the point where, just like in the videos, the controller, the movement is controlled by AI or by the computer, and so it reacts to physics, and from there maybe see something that I haven't thought about or haven't looked into and learn along the way. So yeah, so that's my goal today. My goal is just to profile in the profile the blade and import it in a project in Unity. So here's my thought. I'm gonna bring this in also, so this here, and I'm gonna make it side by side. So here's my thought. So here's a picture of the rocker and on the ice. So you have a flat part in the middle, and this is a profile part. So on a single curve radius, you have this full area is in fact the profile that the profiling system is going to tell you about. So here is single radius would be 17 feet. That's what we're going to use. Make my life easier a little bit, and then I'll see if I go further down. Those are, by the way, Blade Tech. I think Blade Tech this one and ProSharp this one. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, so these are different circles that are joined together, and you have different radiuses. So the flat part is one radius, and then you have, for me anyway, and I want to go there, the profiling doesn't go there, because it's not the purpose of profiling, but the end doesn't, the blade doesn't stop with the profiling. So the profile is that middle section. So and this is exaggerated, but the profile is here. So it really doesn't matter if you divide it in 3 or 4 or 1. You're gonna have different. The flat part or a flatter part is going to be different, but it's still the flatter part. But then you also have towards the end of the blade, you also have this radius here and the end radius where the end of your blade is. And this we don't take much care about, and that's fine. But I'm going to model it anyway. And I like to understand different concepts. I like sometimes to go to the extreme. This is not going to happen on the ice, but to understand, how this would be affecting the weight, and you can understand that the leg doesn't have free movement like the triple pendulum thing that we saw. So there are some movements that are going to be limited. So by going to the extreme, I can see where some of the limit is, or some of the concepts, the effect of one over the other is. So basically I'm going to model 5 circles or 5 arcs. And the first one's going to be 17 feet. And these two here are, I've tried it before, and I kind of have to go by ear because I don't know how it's done in the profiling systems or the manufacturing system, because profiling is only taken care of up to a certain point. And then the ends I'm going to make constant, because I think they would be constant. I'm not sure. The circle of the arc, so the center point of the arc, and when it's going to be time to roll on the different size wheel. So if I lift the skate, then I'm going to be using this part here. So if the skate is rotated forward because I'm on my toes, then the pressure is going to be on this part, which is not the same radius as that blue line. So it's important for me to know where that center point is, because it's going to be my pivot point for when the weight is on that part of the blade. So when we get to this position here, that's the second radius that we're using. This is the flat part, which is the profiling, and then there's the green circle, which is the smallest radius. But the positions of the pivots are going to be important. quite a long video, and I'm gonna keep working on this and get a little better at explaining it along the way. It's the first time that I'm doing the work at the same time I'm trying to explain it. Usually it's all in my head and I'm just testing out ideas. So yeah, I'm gonna share more of these videos because I'm still doing this. So I'm gonna share this, and hopefully it's a little bit valuable for some of you guys. And thanks, and see you next time.